So I got my bushings in. Pretty disappointed in the quality. The bags all say made in the United States to Caterpillar specifications. I have the print for these bushings, and it's such a tight tolerance that the OD and the ND inside diameter are supposed to be ground to finish. But if you take a light and a jeweler's eyepiece and you look at those bushings, they haven't been ground. That's not a ground finish. And then the old ones have a really super nice ground finish on the end. And this is the new one, and it looks horrible. And if you measure the length on them, this stupid thing is about 1/1000th longer than the old ones. So I can't get it in here all the way yet and make it turn freely. So I've been taking a file in here trying to clean it up to where it'll go in and the pin would go in. The old ones fit beautifully. No problems. I measured the OD and it's pretty damn close, but it's still not what the plans call for. So basically, Cat has farmed the manufacturing of this out to the cheapest bastards they could find. And the finish just isn't what the old stuff was. So, I don't know. I assume it'll last as long as I live, but it's just really disappointing. You remember, this all goes back to before I took this apart. You remember when I said, I'm scared to death to take it apart because some of it's probably going to be obsoleted, and what I do get is probably going to not be the original OEM quality stuff. I was right. It's not. It's garbage. Thank you, Caterpillar. I'm hoping I can get some good quality parts for this. But I'm afraid I'm just going to get whatever's available. Hopefully there's something available. Okay, so I had to go over and take a red roller lock and polish these, cut some more off. And then I had to polish the ends of these because they're not a high gloss, super smooth finish like the OEs are. And then the other thing is see how these are, I don't know if you can see it, they're chamfered right here. So that when you go to press that pin in, it's going to hit that chamfer and get this straightened up. And these have absolutely no chamfer. They're blunt. Absolute blunt. But I think I've got this one to where it's going to work. But the thing is, if you got a rough finish on this, it's going to want to catch on the edge of these ears. Both of these need a good finish. Otherwise, it's going to catch and start trying to wear, and it's going to flat spot itself because it's not going to turn freely. But I've got to make sure, I can't put the pin in there to make sure because it's a press fit. The more times you press it in and out, the looser it's going to get. I bearing mounted these in because they didn't go initially. When I tried to push the one in, it would go quite a ways. The other one was tight, and you'd start pushing it in, then it'd go easy. So I've bearing mounted those to make sure they're not going to move out and bind up the weight. Otherwise, any kind of binding, you're going to get surging going on because your governor's got to move accurately and freely. So I've spent about an hour filing and buffing, polishing this just to get it in here because originally it wouldn't even fit between these ears. And all four of the old rollers that I have fit quite well. And now that I've polished it, it fits nice and smooth. It doesn't drag. So that's pathetic when you have to take a manufacturer's part apart and actually finish machine it or do whatever you got to make it work. If you were just to jam those in there and push the pin through, you'd destroy these in no time. So Jeff wins. Cat 0, Jeff 7, Jeff 32, Cat 0. I just don't like the way the industry is headed with all manufacturers. It's pathetic that they build shitty parts. Might as well just obsoleted everything. Just give customers a print and say, here, you go have it made. You could probably find somebody to make it better because we're too cheap. I don't know how it works. Maybe some engineer could tell me. When they farm this stuff out to somebody else, is there not somebody that's checking quality control with all of this stuff to make sure that they continue to provide a manufacturer with parts that are in tolerances and ground to the specific finish that they were originally built with? It's like this with everything. I mean, you buy an oil pump. There's no way in hell I'd put an oil pump on until I disassembled it, checked the clearances, made sure everything was correct. Cylinder packs, you're going to void the warranty if you take them apart. But if you don't take them apart, you're going to find upside down rings, broken rings. You're going to find liners that aren't round. You're going to find all kinds of stuff. And it's like, well, if you put it together like that and then it fails, oh, we'll give you the new part. Well, you're not going to cover labor, are you? Or you're going to weasel out of it by saying, well, that's lack of lubrication. It's lack of quality control is what it is. So these things should spin freely. And they do now. I had to really polish the sides of these to get them to spin freely. Can't even talk. So, I got the pin through and started into the bore, and then I put a little bearing mount on the pin and in the bore on this side, and then drove it through and cleaned it up because they don't fit super tight. So I want to make sure they stay put. Probably do the same thing with these because these pins that go in here, the only thing that holds them in is this little teeny hole, and you're supposed to take a punch down in there and bend the metal over to make a wedge kind of deal. I don't know. Seems kind of hokey. We'll see how tight they fit. I pushed this pin in and I had to take it over on the press to get it in. That took a lot of power to get that one in, so I'm not even worried about that one. This one went in with a hammer. So before I got all the way, so I had about that much of the pin sticking out, the thickness of this where it goes in the bore. So I put glue in here and I put glue on the pin and pushed it in. And I don't have any primer, quick cure primer, or I'd have put that on it, but that's tough to apply. It's in a spray. You don't want to get it in on the bushings. So what you do is just take MAP gas torch and heat it up. It's hot. Don't heat it up too hot, just enough. It'll make that stuff cure pretty damn quick. So these pins I glued in. They still turn freely. Everything's good. These operate inside of there. The pin couldn't come all the way out, but if it came out enough, it could bind up on these sides and give you grief. So that's why I glued those in. So I got that much done, man. That took a long time. When the parts don't fit correctly, aren't machined correctly, don't have a smooth finish and won't roll, then you got to fix it and make it happen, because if you don't, this ain't going to work. It's going to flat spot them again. It's raining outside, so once that's cured and I'm comfortable with it, I can go ahead and stuff it in here, put that plate on and the gasket, clean the paint off, the overspray. But Thursday I'll have a new one of these. But I'm still really concerned about this rough finish. If the other one comes and it looks like this, I'm just going to have to machine this till it's smooth, till at least that much of it is smooth, so it'll seal. But this is the part I'm more concerned about, because those ratchet mechanisms in there are going to sit and wear on these, and where that's a rough surface, that's no good. So I may have to take a file in here, clean it up, if the other one looks like that. So they machined this with an end mill. They should have machined the rest, but apparently St. Louis Die Cast knows how to cast aluminum and not have to machine anything. I mean, I don't know how they do that. Maybe somebody that's more experienced with die cast can tell me how they can make it so smooth. Is it a forged, something where they push the molten aluminum into a mold that's smooth, and these guys are using sand casting, and then they have to machine all this stuff? I don't know. It just looks cheap and hokey. All right, I got Jake come down and MIG welded that hole up because it was so slotted out, and he's gone to town. He's going to get me a couple of new pins because they're shot. And I cleaned this all up, going to paint all this stuff, but I got to drill a hole in here. I got to get it marked in the center and drill a hole. Oh boy. So anyway, I've got the governor all put together. You saw that. And I heated this up the other day, and then I heated it up again this morning to about 150. And that cured that bearing mount harder than a rock in there. So I'm not really worried about those ever coming out. Hey, you want to see my governor work? You want to see it work in there? Here we go. Don't turn very fast, does it, before it goes to full off fuel. So what happens if we turn it to full on fuel? Like that. Then what does it do? I probably can't see that, can you? Can you see that? Gosh dang it. Here, how's that? You see that? Shut it in here. Eh. See, that's all the faster that's going to turn. Slowing it down. So that's full fuel. That don't spin very fast. But that makes me feel better. Heck, that don't really have to turn that much before it starts regulating the fuel against that spring. So I'm going to go paint this. So I got my hole drilled in it. Pin fits good and tight. Man, we ready to go. I just need parts. Alright, so I'm going to clean up this mounting surface for the gabna. I just took the plastic bag I had off of here, heard something drop, and I'm like, oh, what was that? And it dawned on me, that timing pin fell out of the hole. So I got this carbide gasket scraper from Scott Hammerl. This thing is awesome. Completely awesome. Now you have to be careful with it, or you can actually gouge it, scrape metal off. I said yesterday we had a 70% chance of rain. And today it's like 2%. It's going to be in the 70s. Somebody asked me what's up with the jacket. Well, I think it got down to 39 last night. Summer's over, fall is here, so that's why I got a jacket on. It's chilly willy. I could see my breath this morning, mostly because I haven't brushed my teeth. Okay, I can see one spot where I still got something stuck, and it looks like silicone. It's red. Okay, let me show you what that looks like in there. So that's the governor drive. This is the rack here that I have to get hooked up. This is the oil hole that comes through and lubricates the brass bushing on the governor shaft. This is an oil hole that goes up into the governor to lubricate other stuff up in there. That right there is the drive, ring gear and pinion. Got a big gear there and a small one that drives the governor, so it's obviously driving the governor quite a bit faster than half engine speed, I would think, wouldn't you? Okay, so big disappointment in Caterpillar Tractor Company. I went down to get the rest of my parts, and the one they sent was machined a little bit more on one side, but still looked like this. So I'm gonna have to go down and check this up in my lathe and see if I can put a finish on this. They sent them the pictures and told them not to send it if it looked like that one, and they sent it. And I said, well, who checks this stuff? Oh, they should add some. Yeah, apparently they didn't get out the prints, didn't look at them, don't know what they're looking at, and so that's what I got. So it's off to the lathe. My jaws are too wide. I can't push this down against the face. These were all machined. And I can't get in there to machine it because then the jaws are out over here. So I've run it to this part that was machined, and I think I've got it pretty straight. I guess we're gonna find out. Okay, hold on to your ass.
Hold on to your butt.
Probably should speed it up quite a bit more, shouldn't I? I'm no machinist, but I play one on YouTube. Yeah, that looks like shit. Total shit. Let's do something different. Alright guys, we've got a big D11 project in here. Gonna machine the shit out of it. And what's his name from... God, what is his name? Dadgummit. Can't even think of his name. Cutting Edge Engineering. What's his name, dang it? I can't think of it. Alright guys, I'm gonna royally fuck something up today. Polish that up. That's probably going to be fine, isn't it? It's going to be fine. Oh, God, Jeff, wrong way. You stupid son of a bitch. God, oh, Friday night you dicked up that bearing surface. What a moron. I should have quit while I was ahead. My hell. How stupid can you get? I knew that had happened. I'll probably have to go get that other one because I dicked that one up. Jackass, son of a bitch. What a moron. God, Friday. See, this is what happens when you don't know what you're doing. Don't do things. Don't do shit if you don't know what you're doing. Come on. What a stupid ass. Alright, I'm giving up. Hell with it. This is it. That's all it gets. How stupid. You know what? I'm going to tell them to make me one that works. And then I'll end up replacing it. God dang it. Thank you, Caterpillar. Thank you for making me go through all this bullshit. Alrighty. Alright, well, is what it is. You screwed it up, but it's going to have to work. I dicked that up right there. Dicked it up good. Oh, I forgot to turn the lights off in here. I'm so pissed I forgot to turn the lights off. Somebody want to buy an airplane? Sure wish I had an engine to throw in it. It's had a prop strike. She not gonna fly till it gets in. Tear it down, inspect the crank, and it's got 1,492 hours on the engine, so there's no sense of not overhauling it.